Welcome to the latest episode of Branding the Experience. We discuss ways where we can create environments where employees actually want to come to work and customers want to keep coming back. Hi, I'm Ken Bader, your host for Branding the Experience, and was just thinking of the concept of branding and competition. Because this has really come to light a couple of times recently at a few events that I've attended and have been a part of the last, I want to say, year or two. You know, there's been situations where people were a little uneasy about other attendees in the event because they were direct competitors. And I always thought it was kind of interesting in that, how do you deal with that, number one? And number two, what does that really mean for your brand and how you approach competition? I talked a little bit about that in a presentation that I did where there were some competitors in the room for an organization about a year ago. Let's listen to this little snippet. I'm a very competitive person, and so one of the first things that I think of sometimes when networking or being part of a certain group is, all right, who's going to take away my business? Who's my competitor? And although I don't change the way I may think of that at first, I approach that a lot differently. For instance, since writing the book, I've gotten into a bunch of author circles. Normally I would think, I want to buy my book, not somebody else's book, but you find out that people buy a lot of books. So by being in co-opetition with other people that do the same or something similar, it raises everybody's brand culture and strategy. And I used to think, well, I'm a speaker. I don't want to promote any other speakers. But you know what? Place, even if they're going to hire 12 speakers in a year, aren't going to hire me 12 times. They want different speakers. So in networking with other speakers and promoting other speakers, I've gotten more gains out of that. So sometimes we need to change our paradigm. We need to change the way that we think, as well as the questions that we ask. So what can we learn about our brand in the face of competition? Well, a few things. One, as I talked about in the session that you just saw, when I got beyond that, hey, there's another speaker in the room or another author in the room that does something the same or similar to what I do, and connected with those folks, I actually found that it brought my brand up in that it was a situation of, well, how can we help each other out? There's plenty of business for everybody out there. We certainly don't have to be contentious. How can we help each other out in being thought leaders? And I think it's not too different than restaurants, for instance. I think it's a good analogy to what I spoke of. Is I've known restaurants that have been on a corner by themselves, and then all of a sudden another restaurant or two opens up within a block or a half block of them. And most of the time, surprisingly, they're not upset about the competition. They're actually pleased because it draws more people to the area. In that, hey, there's 3 or 4 restaurants here to choose from. Let's go to this particular locale and pick one of them. And that creates more business for everybody and doesn't take away business from other restaurants. And the other thing, which I think is the most important point, and I stress this to a lot of the folks that talk to me that are worried about competition for whatever reason. Number of years ago when I was working as a VP of marketing and business development for a large financial institution around the Chicago area in the 90s, I had my staff come to me, almost in a tizzy. They said, one of our competitors was coming right into our market that actually was not much of a competition before until they decided to go right into our territory. And they're like, they're coming in. What are we gonna do? The sky's falling. And I answered it with a very simple phrase of 2 words, which was, who cares? Who cares? And the point that I made is if new competition comes in and we lose business from it, that's on us. That's because we haven't provided the proper branded experience for our clients in order to keep them. If they leave, that means that we screwed up, we did something wrong. And sure enough, this competitor came in, a very viable competitor, and we lost actually very, very little business. Sure, made things a little bit tougher, and we had to have some more difficult conversations with our clients in terms of why to stay with us. But at the end of the day, it made us a lot better. And I notice as a speaker, author, consultant, when I'm surrounded by other people, other thought leaders, it actually brings me up. It forces me to be better because I don't want to be upstaged by anybody. And if I am, kudos to him or her because then they are better than I am. And that means that I need to rise to the challenge not only as an individual, but as a business to brand the experience as well or better than those that would compete for my business. So build your brand your experience to where nobody can steal your business, because at the end of the day, that really is all you have. Products and services are basically the same across the board in most industries. But if you brand the experience at an exceptional level, I guarantee you that competition is going to have a very, very difficult time in stealing your valued business and your valued clients. Thank you for spending some time with me today, and here's hoping that you're branding the experience at such a high level that competition is actually inconsequential to you. Take care.